So yes, talking animation characters. I've made a common event. I've just called it talking character. And I've made comments up the top where I've assigned variables. It's kind of confusing to look at, but basically, I should probably show you the actual visual example of this first before I talk about the behind the scenes and how it all works. So I'm actually going to get a video up that I recorded of the scene. So I'm not going to do an actual test play because we'd have to go through the custom hero creator. But I'm going to open up a video. And we'll get it up so you can see. Now, this is a slightly old version and some of the animations are a bit wonky and off in this example scene. I've kind of made some small additions and touches since this. But if you look close enough, if you can see, you'll see that Carol's mouth is moving along with the dialogue. And what is so cool about this is that her mouth stops moving at a certain point as well, based on how long the text is. And that's just a hack, by the way. I haven't done anything complex to pull that off. But like the grow section, for example, her mouth only moves for a very short period of time because it's a short sentence. I've got to one thing that we're missing in this video example is the hero's reaction to Carol. We meant to have a surprised face in this section, but it's not in this video version, but it will be in the final one. So yes, and if it's a longer sentence, then she'll talk for longer basically. So that's how it all works. Hi Try, how are you doing? It's so good to see you. See what you have running in the background, and then you can close the things you don't need. Probably all just the stuff that I am using for stream, like RPG Maker, Stream Avatars, OBS, the bot, RPG Maker, Discord, probably just all that stuff, which can be quite extensive, a lot of apps, but it's never crashed my computer in the middle of a live broadcast before. But something felt a bit fishy last night anyway, because nothing was loading and apps were crashing and things were taking forever to load, like half an hour some programs, and I was like, this is just absurd. And it was fun, the timing of it was funny because I'd just done the Windows update. So good, thanks. Just made 33% returns in a week on share trading, so feel pretty good. That sounds very exciting, Trying. It's good to see you again. I hope you've been well. I'm here on a Thursday. New schedule, Try, or anyone else coming in case you didn't know. Yes, Thursday, Tuesday, the 2 days beginning with T are the stream days now. Rogue Windows shell slowing her desktop down. It could literally be anything. Yeah, I mean, it could be. There could be something weird going on in the background. I will investigate, but I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to deal with tech issues while I'm live. But it's just a pain in the butt, that's for sure. And I get stressed when I think about it, so we won't be dealing with that now. Okay, so yes, I just showed off the scene, and this is how it's all been put together. So the character talking one variable is a variable I've set, and a number's going to belong to a different NPC. So we've only done Carol so far, we've not done Duncan or anybody else, so we've only got one there, which is for Carol. And for Duncan, probably give him number 2, Nigel number 3, etc. And we'll use a sort of a variable array thing to keep for that, so we can sort of identify who's talking, and all I do is set that variable just before their dialogue box. So here we have Carol's dialogue lines, so I just start the common event just before the dialogue box starts and call that variable. Well, not that variable, but the character talking variable 1 for Carol, and these are 2 of the variables that I've got as well. So the other 2 are animation type and dialogue length. So obviously dialogue length is straightforward. That's just how long the dialogue goes on for, if it's a few words or short, medium or long. So the code I've got in these for the short ones, it's obviously less, and the longer it is, the more mouth moving frames you've got. So it's pretty straightforward, and it was like the most simple way to pull this off in RPG Maker, I think. And it could potentially become pretty hard work, especially doing this with all the NPCs, but you know, if you want to make something look good, you gotta do it. And I think doing it in this organised way won't be too bad. Be easy enough to like look at, keep track of. And animation type. Right, so the animation type is pretty obvious as well. That's just what Carol's doing at the time of when she's talking. So far we've got a few Carol poses. One where she's got the lid on and off, one where she's jumping, and one where she's with the lid on and off. But there'll probably be more over time. Like we'll have some angry faces or things like that, different expressions, and obviously it would be a different sprite. So we'd have to set up a variable for the different ones. So yeah, fun. But like I said, I don't know if this is 100% the most efficient way to do it in the engine, but it was the easiest one that sprung to my mind for pulling off the talking animation in the engine. It's a hobby really, but always nice when a hobby can make you money rather than cost it. Yeah, that sounds fun. Give me some tips, Troy, because I want to make money. And anyway, I spent all my games completing my collection of all the GBA main series Pokemon games. Oh, cool. Sounds fun. Man, I never get tired of watching my little vampire dude walk around. Yeah, he looks very dapper, doesn't he? And he's definitely Violet's twin. And Violet is her name now. She used to be Rose, but we've renamed her to Violet for reasons. But you'll never guess what that reason was. For those that don't know, who weren't here when the announcement for the name change was made. It is cold. But it is February, and it is probably the coldest month, so no shocker there. Okay. So, I've explained that, and obviously this will get really big over time, this common event will, as we add more, but the setup's really simple. You just set the graphic, the image and the frame of that you're calling, and have some weights in between. So easy job done. Now it's the next bit. We were also talking last stream about adding sound effects to accompany this talking mouth that our characters are going to have. There's certain games out there, especially like indie pixel art style games, or not necessarily pixel art, but you know, games with I'll give you a few examples, but there's one in particular that I looked at that I thought was pretty cool. And I don't think Raindrop Chronicles can get as ambitious as this particular game did with the sound design for characters, but I kind of want to at least get inspired by it. And this is the game, Celeste. So I don't know who here has played Celeste. I actually haven't, because I'm bad at platforming games. But I know of the game, and I think it's very nice style and how they go about things. So I just wanted to have a little peek at this game and talk about what I really like about it and how I'm inspired by it in particular for certain things. We're gonna pause the music in the background just temporarily, and I'm gonna put my headphones in. And we've got the sound master in stream, Mr. Define Dreams. Perfect. Maybe Define Dreams can share some knowledge, because it is a sound stream. Well, it is a sound stream from now at this point, kind of. It's mainly that we'll be discussing different ways and techniques to go about achieving a couple of things. And I wanted to watch this video of Celeste just briefly. And Trigers is giving me tips on how to be rich as well. Thank you very much, Try. I appreciate it. What is that you've put? Rose Redwood Get State live? Yes. I am live now, at least. We had some problems earlier. I'm glad that for anyone who's coming in now who didn't have to put up with the tech issues that we had earlier. I'm making it sound really bad. But yes, my computer has been very, very mean to me the last 24 hours. And it's still being mean to me now. Okay, so let's watch this charming video to make us feel better. Okay, so I'll just give a summary first so we get what we're actually looking at here. We are doing talking animations for the characters right now, and I am looking into thinking of how to use sound to accompany those talking animations. So that there's something that gives the sort of impression that there's a voice coming out of that character's mouth, because we don't have voice acting in Raindrop Chronicles. The budget doesn't allow it, and to be honest, I don't think the style of game would even suit traditional voice acting anyway. But I think the way that this game do voices could, and there's a few other games out there that do a similar technique as well. And like I said, I don't know if we can get as ambitious as this one, because it's a very complicated method that Celeste used to do the voices. But we could sort of have a bit of inspiration, maybe. Let's turn. I don't know if you can hear this very well, chat, to be honest. I can turn it up, but it's very loud on my end when I turn it up, that's the thing. But there's voices, and it's cute, and it's emotional and charming, and it makes you even more attached to the character, especially because each character has a unique sort of tone to their voice. And I already know that Carol the Barrel would have a Sunday angry voice because it's Carol. I was reading a few threads online about this technique in games, and people say, yeah, it's a great thing to do if your game's like light-hearted and fun, but Celeste is actually a really emotional game. So, I mean, it's very charming and quirky, but it's also quite emotional, so from what I've heard. So it's not just limited to light-hearted games, and Raindrop Chronicles falls under light-hearted in a lot of ways too, but it could fall under lots of themes, because there's serious sort of themes and tones to the game as well. Talking gibberish, and then EQ the ever-living heck of this. See, that's what I was thinking, Defined Dreams. This could be something that us as a community do together. Like, we just record ourselves, and then we could get a range of voices, and you'd actually be voice acting a character in the game. Like, you, if it's good, I mean, don't get me wrong, this, if I'm going to go for this, it has to sound good. Like, I'm not going to want to put sound effects in the game that are obnoxious. So we have to really pull it off, and it really make the game better than if there was no voice sounds, for me to be happy. But yes, that's basically what it is, gibberish. It's gibberish. And I'm sure there's a number of techniques and ways that devs go about this. I'd want to go for the easiest, but I also don't want it to be amateurs either. I want it to sound good as we can do it. So you've seen the example. I feel like Celeste is the best example. So I was looking at people's thoughts on this thing and opinions, and I think it's, from what I gather, people like it. It gives the game a unique touch, and it can be very emotive and charming, and it can make you like the characters more, and it enhances the game. But at the same time, if it's pulled off and the sounds are actually good, not obnoxious or annoying ones, so that's kind of the goal. And let's catch up with chat. Use all sorts of audio processing, but mainly heavy EQ to practice. Do it yourself a few times. Do you have Audacity? I do, Define Dreams. I have Audacity indeed. So I don't like Audacity, but it works. Yeah, it's quite simple. I've got it because it's kind of easy to use, but I'm sure there's more advanced programs out there, but it's an easy one. And I really like the way Toby Fox did the Undertale voices. That's another good example. Try. I think the games I was thinking of, like with Celeste, Undertale, Animal Crossing, and Banjo-Kazooie, seem to be games, like Nintendo games especially, seem to have that sort of quirky, cute, light-hearted voice thing. I think it really helps to give the game like a sort of charming vibe, and that's always a goal for me with Raindrop Chronicles. I think it works with the sort of characters that we have. And let's open Audacity and just record a 5-second clip of nonsense. Yeah, let's have a look. I heard something about Undertale. Let me just say that one thing I heard about Undertale was that they took a sample from Patrick from SpongeBob for the character Sans. They actually took Patrick's voice in a SpongeBob episode, and they sampled it and edited it and then just use it for Sans's voice in the whole game. And I don't know if it's true, but people are very certain that that's what happened, because it sounds identical to Patrick apparently. But would that be copyright? Rose, read the following. Oh my goodness, should we do it? Should we do it silent? So let's open Audacity right now. Now, my computer better behave and not take about a bazillion years to open this program. Okay. And can you post a link to that video, the Celeste one, Define Dreams, or were you talking about another video? And I will certainly post the link. And what's your reason for liking the Undertale voices? Try, I'm very curious. Do you just think it made the characters memorable, and I like how they give distinct voices, because then the character comes on the scene and you immediately know who it is and you recognise that character, because that voice is just so, you know, it gets ingrained into your mind, doesn't it, over time. And I always like those little things that can really separate characters from one another. So once you get things running, just start making things up. Oh my gosh, this is going to be embarrassing but hilarious. And the trick is not to think too much about it and just have fun. This is for practice anyways. Yeah, what we're going to do now today isn't going to necessarily be the voice that we actually have for Carol. Oh my God, am I going to be the voice of Carol the Barrel? No way. That can't be true. I don't have the Sunday nature within me, do I? I mean, is there anyone here who is very, very good at angry lady voices? Ow. I've just bashed myself. There's a last one. I wanted to get a closer listen to the voices. Let me put it in chat. But yes, Celeste is great. I particularly like how in Celeste, the pitch changes, like depending on the character's mood. Like if they're angry or scared, it'll change. It's not always constant, but I could imagine that might not be easy to do. I don't know. From what I've gathered, because I've done a bit of research into this, they've said that the Celeste way of implementing the gibberish speech they're doing FMOD Studio is very complicated and takes ages to put together. So we can just do it in a way that it's a super minimal and simple version of the way they do it, maybe. But yes, we'll experiment. So this is the Celeste video. There. I hope it is anyway. I hope I've not linked to something wrong. And I made them memorable. There is even a fun trick they play with a few spoilerific characters, and to identify characters just from their voice if you'll really pay attention. I voiced Alucard from Castlevania in a fan animation once. Oh, really? Yeah. And in a way, I think, like, this method is even better than actual proper voice acting. You know, it depends on the game. Like, I think this sort of, if we were going to go for voice acting, this is the best way to do it for Raindrop Chronicles, because it just fits the style and it's charming and quirky. Okay, so shall we get on with this? So Audacity. But I agree, it makes them memorable, and I think that Sans was my favourite voice because it's Patrick. It's Patrick. Voice acting can really divide opinion. It suits certain games, like if it's AAA and the graphics are like super high realism and that, then totally it'll work. But for a pixel art, indie style, minimal graphics kind of game, it could almost be quite weird, almost. And also, it's super high budget, and the voices have to actually sound good and not amateur, which can be hard to pull off for an indie project as well. Some of Final Fantasy voice acting is really bad. Yeah, it probably is. I mean, because I got into it at such a young age, I just ignored it and I just appreciated it for what it was. But yeah, probably it is bad, really. Right. Audacity's open, so I'm going to get my ears in and I'm going to read what Define Dreams. I've heard that people said that Final Fantasy X had really cringy voice acting, and it probably did, in all honesty, but it's still like an amazing game, and is the one that made me the most emotional in the entire series, that I actually cried at. So, you know, So based on the Reddit post, I can hear the evidence of the pitch up and the noise granulation in the samples. I bet they wanted to add in this noise to the samples because the low quality sounding static better fits the pixely graphics. Maybe. So, one at a time then. I know what that is before even clicking it. It's the timeless laugh, isn't it? Kind of looks like they use tools to split all the syllables up and then randomise the orders, which might be overkill. Yeah, so I definitely don't want to go about this in any complicated way, because as a solo developer, doing the game itself and everything that needs to be done is hard enough on itself. So this is something I would definitely want to do to enhance the project and the experience and the characters, but in a minimal way that's not going to be like, oh my god, this is a full-time job, this job, or anything like that. So let's scroll up, because Divine Dreams did tell me what to say, and I'm going to say it exactly like it. Okay. Flimba raffle rabuba pooters extenvele do. Oh my god, that is bad. I don't even want to listen because I'm completely. That's my first attempt. You gotta be. See, this is why I'm not a voice actor and never could be, because I'm too embarrassing. I'm too awkward. You guys will have to do it for me. It's perfect. Let's try processing. We've got to delete the ending bit where I get embarrassed though. Flim. Why, my ears just exploded. That is loud. What Rare did was get normal speaking and then cut it up. Okay, so I've got to sort out this sound, because if I listen to this, my ears are going to die because it's so loud on my end. It probably isn't so much for you guys, but it is for me. So I'm going to just turn down my sound massively. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to turn the sound back up. Actually, I probably shouldn't, because I'm going to have to listen to it again, aren't I? You'll want to normalise the sample to do that first. It was loud. Hi, Mom, Tina Maria, how are you doing? Minika. Okay, so that'll do for now, but we'll record some more later, perhaps. Flimba. Okay, so next task. We've got the sample. Now we're going to have to sort it out and edit it to the way we want. I need a sort of tutorial or something, because I actually haven't looked that up, of how the process of this is. I don't know if did we say what was the next thing to do in chat? Okay, so increase the pitch is something we can do, and add heavy EQ. Okay, so Flimba. Is that loud for you guys? because I have it on 8% on my end, and it's come on OBS, it's coming out as full blast, so I don't want to make your ears explode. So I don't want to press play and make chat's ears explode. I'll turn it down a bit. Flimba raffle rabuba pooters. You may want to use more than just a single syllable, because working with such a small sample won't give you a very good idea of how your processing will affect the overall feel of things. But anyways, throw a very small pitch increase. Okay. So should we take it all and get the pitch up first? Okay, so I don't think you can see this pop up on my end because my window capture hasn't captured it. You might want to reduce the recording volume or leave it in, and I don't want to backseat your sound design. To be honest, I totally don't mind the feedback here, folks, because one reason I wanted to stream this in particular today was so I could get some knowledge and see some technique knowledge, basically, and then I can eventually gather all those tips and hopefully produce something, because I definitely don't claim to be a pro at sound design, so I'd like to learn more than anything. And you don't need much pitch ups at all. It's going to make very drastic changes. Hi Brian, how are you doing? You were recommended by Inkflame Writer. Oh, was I? Well, that's awesome. Well, welcome to the stream, Brian, and thanks for stopping by, and thanks for that follow as well. I appreciate it. Nightcall Rose voice. When I'm just thinking, am I going to be the voice of Carol the Barrel officially? Because I'm not sure. I'm up for chat auditioning for this role. But, you know, she's a lady, so you'd have to be a lady, I'm afraid, to audition for Carol. Otherwise, she might sound a bit too much like a dude. Chipmunk Rose. Okay, so how much should I raise this pitch by? That's the question. Define Dream says no, don't need pitch much up at all because it's going to make drastic changes. So.
Flimba raffle brabble bapu is extend blade.
Yeah, that's very chipmunky. Did you hear how chipmunky that was? I don't know if it was loud on your end, chat, so you might have not even heard. I mean, the acoustics of a barrel would likely lead to a more masculine voice, but you know, magic. Well, Carol is not masculine in the slightest. She just sounds like, I want to think of an inspiration for Carol's voice. Like a cartoon character we could compare her to. But she'd definitely have to be quite angry sounding, and like she would put up with no nonsense. It wouldn't be a sweetheart of a voice, I'll tell you that. That was so chipmunky, yeah, it is. And I think we put it up a bit much, didn't we? I'm actually clueless on what to do next. I honestly need a guide or something for the process of making this work in the engine, because RPG Maker is no Unity or anything like that, so we'd probably have to do it a simple way. But I assume that we just need to, I mean, I don't know, I'd have to Google it. For EQ, I would first try a really heavy cut to the mids. Okay. Yeah, less than that. I would say start with 5%. Okay, so I think that was that 40% that I did. So let's go back and change it and have it as 5% instead. Flimber, raffle, that doesn't sound any different to my normal voice. Flimber, raffle, rabble, bapoo is... Okay. Is that enough, do you think? I can barely tell the difference. But... Next job, though. Met says voice actors playing characters very different than themselves is actually pretty common, though. If you get an actual voice actors, that could take some money, yes. And with us, I ain't going to have that. So anyone that is going to do this for a laugh, like to just talk simple gibberish, it would be voluntary. Otherwise, I'm doing it all myself or taking samples from other media. Like what Undertale did with Patrick. Is that illegal though? Is it technically illegal to take samples of cartoons for this? Because I would do that, like if there were no repercussions, because we'd get more variety then. And do the EQ, you can always add more pitch stuff later on, since this is just experimentation, and Audacity is destructive in that it keeps rewriting over the audio. Let's get the statue out. The statue? What statue? Oh, I've lost the plot. Okay, so... Right, so... EQ. Which one are we looking at here? Not sure if it's legal, but yeah, like I suppose it's because there's no proof, right, that it is Patrick. It's just speculation. So, yeah. Mids are like 500 hertz to 2K. So mess around with lowering those by a fair bit, like 6 dB. Or they paid for a license and I asked for one and got it. It's also going to make everything sound quieter. Okay. Okay, so I don't even know what to do. There's so much of a noob I am when it comes to doing the sounds. I think I have a good, I'm good at knowing what sounds good, but actually doing it is the test. I'm gonna get stuff up on my phone. I should have probably already got a tutorial guide up before this stream, but I'll look. I can always look now, unless chat help me, of course. But no one's forced. No one's forced, of course. I know what it looks like. Use that knob over there. Knob, where is it? I don't see one. I'm looking for a round thing and I don't see one. And a link's legal in this chat. They're fine as long as they're clearly from a source that's not dodgy. Then and you're a trusted member of the community, which everyone here is. So for complete rando, put a link in. I'd probably discourage it, especially if we didn't know where it was from. Very touching. Yeah. Like reading for later. Cool. Thank you for that link. I'll read that. Are there graphic EQs and slider-based EQs? Oh, there are. Government confirmed dodgy. Okay, so I wish I knew what on earth I was doing. I'm gonna get stuff up, so you might just see me reading things, looking down. That's because I'm trying to learn. It might help if you could change the window capture so we can see the window you're looking at. Yeah, there's nothing up at the moment. Just literally got the Audacity sound thing on. And I'm being very cautious today at getting up window captures, folks, because we had a nasty crash earlier in the stream when I was messing with slob sources. It's due to the most recent Windows update. Pressing too many things just crashes my computer now, apparently. And yeah, we actually, it completely crashed and we weren't live for a little while because of it. So I am a little bit nervous of getting a bit clicky today and opening too many pop-ups due to that reason in case we experience another crash. And I know that's not very good because it's not getting us very far in regards to showing things, but yes. And you're gonna notice the most effect by messing with the gain values of nodes at certain sitting frequencies like 500 or 2000. Thank you for the follow, Geeks Anonymous. I appreciate that. Welcome. Hello, hi everyone. We're doing a sound stream today, and I'm a massive noob. Never sound design and all that. It's probably the thing I'm learning the most. I'm less experienced in that area than the graphics or the other side of the game dev things. So I need a guide. That's what I need. And Silence helping out, aka Define Dreams, which is awesome. But I'm still a massive noob. But we've all got to learn, you know. We've all got to dip our toes into different areas if we're going to, you know, get good. That's what I say. There should also be preset values you can try. Yeah, I'm gonna admit it, like the most I can do in Audacity in regards to editing is pitch change. I think that's, and tempo change, and that's as far as I've gone. I ran using Amplify with editing. I've never done any extensive editing before, so it's a whole entire new thing for me. Like a telephone setting will cut the trebles and bass and make it sound like the sample is coming through a telephone. Okay, so let's just have a look. Yeah, I do wish that it showed the effects as they are on the screen for me, because it doesn't come up. The only way we can do that is if I click this window, then it will show up. It's super small, but it's there. But I do not like being on display capture as a streamer. Mainly because there's a lot of privacy things, pop-ups, emails, personal details that come up. So I barely have that screen up because of that. Are you seeing a graphic display for the EQ with dB values on the y-axis and HZ values on the x-axis? I mean, I could have it up a bit. It makes me nervous having this up though. But I don't know. Can you see that, or is it super small for your chat? Because it definitely looks like super tiny, the UI. So it might not even be very helpful. I can make it stretch fit to screen, but then it's cropped, so that's not very handy. There should be an option here where you can select a preset value. I'm not sure. Like I'm out of my depth here, so we'll have to look at a guide. I think maybe today we should do something a bit more simple. Only because I'm gonna get all confused. Toolbar effects equalization when the sample is highlighted, of course. Okay. Right, so this has come up now. Oh, okay. I wasn't meant to do that. Can we cancel? Yeah, this is the first time I've ever been in this. As you can tell, I didn't know what I was doing this then. Select curve, it's a drop down box. So there's a manage curve section. I can't see a select curve. Oh, there. I see it now. So there's telephone that we was talking about.
Flimba raffle rabble bapoo is extenvolate do.
You can tell I'm about to burst out laughing, can't you, in that voice sample? Try one. The telephone one sounded the same to me as how it normally sounds.
Flimba raffle rabble
okay, that sounds quite different. So yeah, that definitely sounds like a walkie-talkie.
Flimba raffle rabble bapoo is extend. Flimba raffle rabble bapoo is
Pardon me.
Flimba raffle rabble bapoo is extenvolate. Flimba raffle rabble bapoo is extend.
You can draw things on the graph itself, shall we? Should we make a big mess? Yeah, I don't know if I want to hear it after what I've done.
Flimba raffle rabble.
I definitely need to start educating myself on what this is. Absolutely out of my depth. What did we even click? Was it equalization? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Maybe try a slight echo effect like resonating on the inside of a barrel. That would be good. I'm not sure how to get an echo.
Flim.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna look at ways that the games have gone about it. A guide would be nice, or a YouTube video sort of lesson on how to do it. Something very visual actually would be really helpful for me. Like sort of with a piece of software, sound software, like going through the steps on how you create something, because that's a really good way for me to pick things up. I've never been able to follow descriptions or anything like that. Echoes would be created with a different effect, either delay or echo, or I guess more like a reverb, since echo it's more for longer delays. Yeah, I think I've done a reverb effect in this before.
Flimber raffle.
It's kind of weird hearing myself. I like that. I definitely want to heavily distort it so it doesn't sound so much like me. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to think of how we should go about this, folks, because I definitely don't want to do all the voices myself. I don't think there's going to be enough variety if it's all just me, because I have a very distinctive voice, even if it's edited. And the whole thing is that we want a bunch of different sounding characters in the game, because that's part of the charm, having that distinctiveness. So, shall I become a thief and steal samples from things? I don't want to get into legal problems though. Someone did send me a link in chat so I could read that. Let's get that up. That Manadonna sent us. I don't understand. It's just too boring to read. I mean, I'm going to get myself in trouble. Now, I usually keep well clear from anything that's even close to copyright, because I don't want to have to deal with such things. So, truly is. But cross that off. Okay. So what's this? The main sound designer on Celeste has a video on his Twitch page where he breaks down all the audio for the game. I bet it's super complex, isn't it?
Too loud in that case. It was loud by design, but the volume of this guy as well, so that we don't have like a cut. So next up, Cane Tap, first phrase, 1.5. Jamie Bell does this like asset. So
there's a lot to watch here. There's hours of content.
Or like mini game of sorts when you're calming down from your panic attack. how bad people's computers are?
I linked a Patrick thing in Discord. A short clip of a voice can give a different impression than a longer clip of rambling. Oh, thank you, Matt. Let's have a look. Here's a video of Patrick's voice being used for sounds. Let's watch this as well. And hi, Chub Cheeks, how are you doing? So good to see you. It's a Unity tutorial that looks like there's some Audacity stuff in it, so ignore the Unity reference. Thank you, Silent, for that link as well. This will be helpful because, you know, I'm not streaming again now till next Tuesday, with my new schedule, so I'll have plenty of time to get myself educated on this. Watch YouTube videos, and maybe I'll have a bit more of an idea for next time. And thank you, Chub Cheeks, for the 33 months. Oh my goodness, that is forever. I appreciate it, Chub, that you were like our longest sub in the whole entire channel, or the second longest, I believe. That's something to be very proud of. Let's have some hype in chat. Hype for Chub. Hi, Scary Knight, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Get that bat out of my face. Although this guy is literally just recording them with zero processing. Yeah, I'll make sure I get that link saved. I'll save it in a notepad file. So I don't have to scroll back too far in chat. Okay, so this is Patrick Sands.
Maybe it's the way you're dressed. Maybe.
Yeah, it's Sands. I'm sorry, that is Sands.
Maybe it's the way you're dressed. Maybe.
That is Sands, isn't it? Right? Who agrees? Took part in a game jam last week, made my first game. Only a little buggy things. Oh, congrats! Well done. That's super exciting. And I guess the trick is to just script a random number generator that randomizes a sample during dialogue. Yeah. Well, let's have a look at that link now that Silence put in then, and have a peek.
You know these sounds? Yeah, those sounds. Well, my name's Adam, I'm a game developer, and today I'm going to show you how to make those sounds for your own game. First things first, let's make some sounds.
I like that the examples I said are there.
Great, so I've gone ahead and opened up
Oh, did he
Audacity,
actually
which is a free
do it?
audio edit
I want to say.
part, highlighting some sounds. Great, so I've gone ahead and opened up Audacity, which is a free audio editing software, and I'm going to take each little part, highlight it, and use Command B to make it its own label. Once I've done that, with all the little sections, I can go File, Export, and Export Multiple to export all of them as a set of audio files with whatever name I want, ending in a unique number for each audio sound. Then, just rinse and repeat for all your audio files, which I've skipped over here. Next, I'm going to open up Unity to my existing project, and my plan is going to be to do this. While an NPC is speaking, play a random one of our audio clips all the way through, and when it ends, queue up another one to play, and repeat this process until the NPC is done talking. Great! So I already have this interactable component, which is on every one of my NPCs, and I'm adding a public empty sound clip array for us to add our sound clip files to. If the array sees that it's not empty, it'll pass that list of sound clips onto our dialogue manager that handles displaying the text, and it'll start a coroutine in my audio manager using that array. I know that was a lot of steps, but just focus on the audio manager and it'll all make sense. The audio manager is an empty game object with this audio manager script and an audio source attached to it. I've declared a public static audio manager instance and written this awake function. Coroutine.
So I don't know.
Easy, right? Well, let's see if it all worked.
Like when I see code, my head just spins. So I don't know what what I can do to make this work in RPG Maker. I'm thinking of just doing some hack to pull it off. Actually, that's something I can Google. RPG Maker MV. I did like briefly look. But I didn't look properly on the way they go about it. Shame no one's replied. That's VXA, so it's not the same engine, but it could work in a similar way. Can you do random number generators in RPG Maker? I'm not actually sure. I don't, because I've never actually done that in the engine, so I'm not sure if it's possible. But something similar, a similar technique could be a thing, which is what I'm like reading now to see what the process is. Because Unity is definitely more advanced of an engine than RPG Maker, so yeah, like what he's showing on here, I don't know if it's something to find out. Okay, so just play a sound effect command. If it's via scripts, play it in the script equivalent. That is like so simple. Like, I want a more complicated answer. Just play a sound effect. But how would I say it's a sound? Yeah. Let's look at another one. Time to hack, indeed. Can you make arrays of audio files in RPG Maker? No idea, guys. This is what I'm finding out now. So we're reading the forums to find out if this is possible or anything similar can be pulled off to achieve this effect. Because as much as I've read so far is play a sound effect. That's the most complex that it's been said so far. Let's write some other variant. I saw someone asking if how they could do Animal Crossing voices. Oh yeah, this one here. So let's see. If there exists a basic scripting language within RPG Maker, it should be possible to do the random order thing. Like if RPG uses JavaScript or Python, either those two. Well, yes, it uses JavaScript. So yeah, I'm sure there's a way, because there's always a way for everything, right? It's just knowing what the way is. And I always start off a massive noob, but then once I know, I know. You can find a sound sampling snip inside RPG dialogue generator, create sound effect with SFXR for the blip message. Yeah, I've never heard of this before. I've never used the application, but I'm assuming after you type what you want your character to say in the app and download it, put certified. Then when you make a text effect, have the sound effect play right before the text box appears and set it to not wait until the sound effect finishes. You might have to just how fast the text appears so that it matches the sound effect. If you can't get it to sync up correctly, you might have to edit the sound file with something like Audacity and add some silence in the beginning. Probably going to be a lot of work. They're just basically saying just, hang on, work. But the way they're describing it, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it sounds like they're just saying, just do it the normal way, like do it the obvious way and just record it and just add it in. But I'd rather do it in a way that it's you know, you do it so it works in an easy way for every character, rather than have to record a new sound file for every single thing that's said, or that would just be a real pain in the bum, right? I don't know though. Does RPG Maker use JavaScript? It does. Yeah, JavaScript is good because there's a lot of online documentation for it. I suggest learning how to use JavaScript to play a sound effect at any time. Then the idea would be to specifically trigger this script when there is dialogue. Yeah, I'm surprised that if nobody's already done a sort of plugin now for this in JavaScript to make such a thing work in RPG Maker, because there is a very large and supportive community that make a lot of plugins in this engine. So I would have assumed something like this would exist. I mean, a lot of people seem to be asking for this, but I'm not seeing an answer, a good, a very one that answers all our prayers just yet. Because I was hoping a quick Google would get a plugin or something up, or something that could help. It's just a bit like how Sprite has helped with the animations and the custom hero. Yeah, so if you are going for the plan of having gibberish dialogue for each character type, you can create the database and then just pick a certain mood when you need to do dialogue for a certain character. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing with the actual talking so far, folks. I've made, where are we? I have made, got too many things up. I've made a common event, right, called talking character, and I've got all these variables listed, what they are. And I've just set it up so that depending on what variable it is, each character will have their own variable number, and there's other variables for animation type and dialogue length. A different version of them speaking will happen depending on who it is and what, and that's what this is. And I was thinking it'd be cool if we could approach the sounds in a similar way to this and just add them with this, maybe. So this is Carol, for example. This is Carol saying a very short line with her lid off, standing still. That's that particular one. And the ones below it are Carol doing the same thing but just talking for longer in these ones. So I've already sort of got something set up that could easily, we could easily just add the sound effect thing, code script along with this. So it accompanies the talking mouth animation. Because what this script here is just a simple mouth talking animation, which is in the Discord here. It's basically that, and there's a dialogue length, so she eventually stops talking depending on how long the dialogue is. Hiya, the Schulte, how you doing? RPG Maker text JavaScript plugins. I didn't know that I could possibly make stuff for you then. Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, it does. So, I mean, if you wanted to look at the RPG Maker forum, Met, you could always have a little peek at the sort of things people make. Because they have a section. We go on here. They have a section on the forum. Where is it? Gosh, there's so much. This is the Ruby section because the old engine was made in Ruby. Why is it you can never find it when you look? There should be a JavaScript section on this. Yes, JavaScript boards. Here it is, JavaScript boards. So they have the plugins that have been released, the ones that have been developed, and all sorts of things. It's a very, very busy community. Lots of people creating things on here for people's RPG Maker games. It's really cool. But I'd be surprised if there wasn't one for the sound effects. Or at least something that makes the process a little bit easier with implementing the sound effects, right? So they're easy enough to get set up in a common event or whatever with a script. Do you mind if I take voice clips of you from the VODs and try to make character voice samples? Of course, Matt, that's fine. Yeah, totally do that. It's good to have practice. Even if we don't go for those exact ones, it's good to like something we can use as an example. you might as well if you want to. I wouldn't be offended. And I would use one script that activates when a certain dialogue length is selected, and the script would take the dialogue length as a parameter and use this to determine how many random voice samples to take from the gibberish data set. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm not entirely sure how it would work, but I could imagine just adding a simple sound script to sort of accompany each of these talking mouth animations, and then that'd be how it would work. If we wanted to create different tones and pitches like Celeste do with emotions, then I guess we'd just have to make more variables, right? And we'd just have a variable for mood and tone, voice tone, and then we'd just have to make even more of these, and the common event would end up super long. But we'll just see if there's anything. I mean, I need to know the whole sound design process first and actually create the sounds. That's the first step. But then, of course, I'd want to know how to actually get it in the engine in the most effective and efficient way possible. I'm still going to have a browse to see, because I'm very curious if anyone's created anything, or if anyone has any really good workflow processes with something like this. What are your thoughts about dialogue blips and character speeds? Not too many games adopt this style, most notably a little game called Undertale. Give illusion. Undertale wasn't the first to do this. Golden Sun and early Phoenix Wright games were very popular franchises for their times. And oh, really? I'm gonna have to Google those too, and for inspiration as well to see what they sound like. I didn't realise Phoenix Wright did it, or did they do another way of doing the dialogue blips, because they didn't have voice acting in Phoenix Wright, did they? And I always thought they were good games. Let's have a look. Oh, theirs is more of just like, you know, a normal sound blip rather than a one that sounds like a voice. Do you know how to run a custom JSV RPG Maker? Is it event triggered? A custom JavaScript, do you mean like just a random script? I think the simplest way to do that is just simply go on event commands, and this pops up. It just lets you put in a script. So you can enter whatever you want into that little box. And it's got just a bunch of letters in. It just got script colon and a bunch of letters. But really that's what I do for most things. Like I've done it for this mouth movement here. I've used just script colon this dot set underscore frame characters Carol talk. That's the image file, and that's the frame, the particular image that it pulls. And then I have wait commands in between, and then it just changes the image. It's super easy when you look at it all broken down. And I'm sure we could approach the sound script in a similar way to that, where it just calls the sound file the same as this calls the image file. Hi Rex, how you doing? And like as a test, you could make a hello world JavaScript file that is only triggered by the activation of an event. That is my assumption how it works. Yeah, they did the voice blips. I love Phoenix Wright. Yeah, I mean that example of the voice blips was more, I don't think they actually had character voice blips, but they did definitely have sound effects there for the dialogue. Starting the big food cook-off this weekend for my family's culture club fundraiser. Ooh, sounds fun. A cook-off. Are you cooking Define Dreams? More like slave labour. Bit like how I'd be with you guys forcing you to do the voices, right? Be like, you, voice Carol now. You, voice Woody. You'd be like, yes, miss. That'd be the worst. Well, you wouldn't want to call a script to play a sound with each movement of the mouth, because I imagine the sounds would keep cutting each other off unexpectedly. Yeah, that's the thing. That makes sense actually. Because I'm not as knowledgeable in the sound department. I'm not sure, like, you know, I'm a noob when it comes to, which is why I'm sort of Googling this and hoping someone out there has made a plugin so that life can be easier. But nobody has. Did I just cross off that thread because that might have had something in it? It only really works if you either, oh gosh, I've got this up, go for a retro style game or not so serious setting like Undertale. It is a very comical effect to me, so I'd probably stay away from it if you're not. Very, very false what that person says. Celeste has proved that emotional games can have voice sounds. Personally find it intensely irritating. Yes, I can get that it can sound obnoxious, which is why it's important to make sure the sounds that we have are actually good and not obnoxious. And it enhances the mood and the character rather than it completely ruins it. Because I'm one of these people who I get irritated by sound. I hate white and brown noise and all those sound things that are meant to relax people. It actually sounds like nails down a blackboard to me. So I think whatever we have, whatever sounds we go for, I'm gonna make sure it's actually okay for my ears to be able to stand, because I get irritated. And I think the pitch changes a little bit depending on who speaks, but maybe it's not so much as other games. Oh, really? Or worse, the sounds would overlap. Yeah, and that would be bad too. People are very, very hate it on this board. No wonder it doesn't exist as a plugin. I'm not a fan of it. Most games that have it also force the player to read at the speed of the text and can usually read faster than most games display it. As it is, it feels like a full slowdown to pad the game's play time more than anything to me. I don't understand what they mean. Because, you know, you can still cross the dialogue box off when you finish reading it with Raindrop Chronicles. The text would play first, and that'd be it. And I'm going to go get my breakfast. Enjoy it. It works well for story-based games where you have lots of dialogue like a visual novel. I personally don't mind it, but don't feel it enhances anything or makes up for no VA. Depends on what style your game is. So skeptical, folks. I couldn't disagree more. Actually, it's not bad. If you like it, go for it. I played Golden Sun or Harvest Moon as this too. Personally, I think it will fit an RPG maker game. I love text sounds. When every character has its own pitch, it's another indicator to show who is currently speaking. Furthermore, you get an idea of how voices could sound like, even without the voice output. I like to have some kind of audio cue during dialogue. People talking in complete silence just feels awkward to me. Yes. So absolute minimum, you want something. Hi Timmy, how you doing? It's so good to see you again. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. Never minded audio blips personally. Undertale's audio blips were done very well, that's for sure. Definitely helped set the personality and tone for certain characters. Golden Suns weren't as great. They seemed more in tune of differentiating between the young male, female and old characters in the same personalities. But then again, it's a very old game. I can understand why some people get annoyed by them. I mean, I just think they're cute. And it makes me think characters cute and not annoying. But again, you know, it depends on the game. Like Undertale, Animal Crossing, Celeste, they did the sounds good. And I've always enjoyed audio, but especially if they're used differently by different characters, it gives them a voice, even without a voice actor, much more affordably. Big issue with voice acting is that unless it's really well done, it can be hugely grating. From a developer perspective, voice acting is also much harder to change after the fact. Yeah, it would be. I agree with the silence thing, that you don't like silence. Or you like it. And there's something wrong with a project makes pitch changes not work. You have to scrap it for now. Okay. So it seems, I mean, there seems like mostly on this thread, I mean, there's probably more threads, but the people here on this forum are skeptical about the voice noises, and that might be why no such plugin exists, because I was surprised that there was no such plugin. But I'm just somebody that thinks they're good, not bad, like those people think. I'm unsure of why someone would be skeptical of them personally, but I guess some people don't like noise. Play the game mute, maybe. If you don't like it, I'm being cheeky now. I would prefer to have the audio blips, and I agree that they can be done in a way that helps give a little bit more personality, character. Yeah, for sure. I was wondering if you knew anything about making character talking sound effects work, like in Undertale, for example. Is there an easy way to do it just besides making every single one and importing it by hand? Generally, these sound effects have a blip for each syllable and going the rhythm of sentence. I feel, yeah, so this is really what I want to know right now, what this person's asking. I want to know how such a thing can be implemented into the engine, basically, before I actually get started with doing it, because I don't want to do it and it to just end up being a waste of time. This plugin will make typing noises whenever a message is displayed. You can use the command to change the typing sound file name to whatever sound right before a character talks. Unfortunately, you'll need to run that command each time it switches to a new character talking. Well, that's fine, because we'd have distinct voices anyway. It seems, I mean, I already have that plugin. I didn't realise it did that. Let's look at that plugin then, because I know that I've got it. Hey Holder, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a good day. I'm gonna put the music back on in the background, folks. I did turn the music off because we were testing some sounds. I actually recorded myself talking gibberish, and it was embarrassing. I was laughing while I was voice acting. That is why I never could be a voice actor, because I just laugh when reading all my lines, because I get very embarrassed. So all right, so these were the plugins. Okay, I didn't see this in this plugin before. I wish that this popped up so I could show you. There. Had to manually do that. So there's something called letter sounds, and you can assign a sound. And it lets you add variants as well, and intervals and all these sounds. That's pretty cool. So it seems like there's something programmed in with the message and dialogue. So there wouldn't be any issues of overlap worries or what Silent pointed out earlier, because there's already something coded in that deals with that, it seems, which is a good sign. So it means that it's possible. I guess the only question is how to have variables for these sounds. That's the big question, so that we don't just have them. So we're not just stuck with cursor 1 the whole time. So let's look. Okay, so plugin commands letter sound name. This will replace the current letter sound with the written file name. Okay, this could be the easiest way to do it then. That means all we'd have to do, it's as simple as copying this plugin command. If I just copy and paste that and say this is Carol, this particular one here is Carol talking with her lid off for just a short period of time. So we could just set it up so we put that plugin command at the start of each one, and that would change it then. So if it was Carol's voice, for example, we'd call it Carol voice, or Carol something, Carol voice, whatever. We don't know the name at the moment. That is an example. And then we just plop that plugin command sound change name with each one. And of course, when it's a different character talking, when the variable's a different character, which we haven't got the other characters in yet, we've only got Carol so far, but eventually we'll add more and more. Then we just, that's easy. That's like the easiest way for it to work, which I hope that works fine. Define Dream says, yeah, judging by what that forum post said, if this works, it's just a matter of recording the samples to replace the name of the default sound file. Yeah, so I'm excited now, guys, because all this means is that it's already there working for us in the engine thanks to this plugin command. So all we need to do is make the actual sounds and save the sound files, and then it's as simple as just changing the plugin command to whatever that sound file's name is, and then doing a test play and seeing. And we can always edit it a bit more. Like it says, there's pitch variance, sound pan variance, and sound intervals. If we wanted to do that, we can edit those too, which is really good as well, because it'll let us have a bit of variety if we wanted. This is so Pog. You think it's Pog, man? I don't know. You think it's Pog? Yay. I agree. I love watching this game. Think about that. Thanks for the kind words, Rex. I appreciate it. This stream's been an interesting one, to say the least, because I've come into this very blind and clueless today. Everybody here saw how clueless I was when I opened Audacity. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And Silent Divine Dreams was helping out, even though I didn't know what I was doing. And that's because my knowledge of sound is limited. I definitely credit myself as someone who understands good sound design and what sounds good. I have an excellent taste in music, for example. But when it comes to creating sounds and doing that, I'm very, very new to that side of things. So I'd like to learn now. I'm definitely interested enough to explore and mess about with things for the sake of having some good sounds in this project. With things like this anyway, the voices, because they're going to have to be custom made there's a lot of the stuff I get is from things like freesound.org, which there's some surprisingly really cool copyright free sounds on that website. But for things that are super unique, like voices like this that we're making, obviously it has to be up to me to make them. Little said I missed it. I know all about Audacity. Yeah, why weren't you here, Rex? Were you mad at me? And you know all about it. That, yeah, you could have helped out. I was sitting here not knowing what to do. But we can do more of that now. We've still got time before the end of stream. Letting the side down. So we gotta just jump into the deep end and actually make the sounds now, because we can't progress until we actually make the sounds. Now we know that it's gonna work. We're ready to make the sounds. So this is what the sounds are gonna get matched up with everybody. Let me just get it up for you to see. So this scene here, which is in the process of being smoothed out a bit, this isn't the final version, by the way, but what is working well is Carol's talking mouth. I wish I could zoom in a bit more, but she is talking, her mouth is moving with her dialogue, so we'd have it so that we have sounds with that. So no, I'm just getting used to the new schedule. I was lurking yesterday and then missed the beginning today. Old habits. Oh, right. Yeah, a lot of people probably don't realise I'm streaming today. It's definitely been a quieter stream, than usual. But it hasn't, in all honesty. Chat's been extremely active and helpful. But overall, I'd say there's less people in the stream. I don't usually look at my viewer count or anything like that during stream, but I noticed at one point we had like 7 viewers in the stream, and I don't think I've ever had less than that. I haven't had that less before, but people are still getting used to the new schedule, so it's all good. Take some time to adjust. Okay, so we're going to think of what we're going to do to actually create these voices, everybody, because I want variety. I don't want me, like I said earlier, I don't want me to be doing Carol's voice and Duncan's voice and Nigel's voice. I can't do such variation. I'd already be a professional voice actor if I could. So I don't know what to do. I mean, I guess just looking for voice clips on the internet, but then I don't want to face legal problems, right? I could always do what Toby Fox did and just take some samples from things, but is that going to get me into trouble down the line? I want to make a sound that can be used as a do UXC. I would ask the community to record stuff too, and I'm totally up for that, but I don't want to get like people saying, oh, now you have to pay me like thousands of dollars for that blip sound I made for you, because this is a zero budget, although we get people that are kind enough to sort of monetize and help out, to the stream now and again. I'm definitely not rolling the cash to hire people for things. It'll probably take months just to afford one single commission. So why not use a sim to produce some constant vowel sound pairs, high voice? Yeah, absolutely no, Nate. As I just said, I've got no money and I'm certainly not going to be going into debt. So she doesn't have a synth, but that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't have any like high level sound equipment or anything like that. There's a whole load of virtual synths available for free. Okay, so I guess it depends, like, of the sound you want to create, because I don't want something that sounds like too robotic or computerized either. The Celeste and Undertale sounds and the Animal Crossing sounds sound quite natural, you see, and almost human-like. Like, they actually do sound like people and not robots. And sometimes synthy sounds, I worry that it can sound a bit computerized, which isn't really the effect I want to go for, I don't think. But maybe I'm mistaken. Well, I'd be happy to lend my voice if you needed it, yeah? Well, that's the thing, folks. I'm up for volunteers. If anyone wants to be a voice actor for any of the characters, let's just get a list up, because this could be something I just make a quick note of. We could have, I know Animal Crossing as an example. I don't know about Celeste. I'd have to look into how many different voice effects they've got. But I know Animal Crossing has variations depending on characters' personalities. They have like a grumpy sound. They have so we could approach something similar. Like, we don't need to specifically have every single NPC be unique, but we could have voice types. So, Carol. I mean, angry voice is simple, but she's an angry feminine voice, so I guess that's one type. Should we make a list of this? If we write down the types of voices we need, we'll know our scope then and what we have to do, the best direction we can go into creating those voices. So the thing with something like this, guys, I mean, it's not like all it is a simple voice recording that you guys would have to do. It's not a voice acting project, really. That's what we're avoiding. Like, the reason why I don't have voice acting in the game is so I don't have to go over my budget, really. But I genuinely don't think it would suit Raindrop Chronicles with it being a retro style game anyway. But this is a great way to do voice acting on a budget, I think. So, voice types. How should we do it? Gibberish types. Think, Undertale, Celeste. I'd love to know if there's any other games. Banjo. Oh God, I can't speak. Kazooie. How do you even spell that game? That's how I spell it. Okay, so we're gonna list a few. We'll think the characters we got so far as examples even probably would be a lot of work. Yeah, the point is that it's not going to be a lot of work. So anytime we start to think, oh, this is too much work, we step back and we minimalise it and we think more simply. Because I ain't getting myself into debt or hiring anybody or going over budget. That ain't happening. I have no problem helping out. Heck, any extra things, even non-paid, can be used on a resume. Always good to have stuff for those things. Yeah, so anyone who's up for doing voluntary little... You don't even have to go all out, guys. Like a 5-second voice clip recorded in Audacity is enough for something like this, right? And just a variation of voices can just help massively to make the characters appear distinct. Because if it's just me, if I'm the only person that does these sound samples in Audacity, then it's all good. All the characters are going to sound the same. Even if we try to vary it up with filters or whatever, it's still going to all sound very similar. So I might make it a thing where anyone who's up for doing a 5-second Audacity recording of gibberish, it's not, that's low commitment, and send it over to me on Discord or email, then you could potentially see yourself as a character, voiced as a character in the game, and of course it would be in the credits. But Kazooie, yeah, that's how it's spelled, so I would type it, but I don't know how to spell the banjo part. It's okay, I spent a solid week one time making Piano Patch and it was totally not worth it. Yeah, it's definitely, something like this doesn't need to be time consuming. There was a video that Silent sent me just of this guy. I don't know if you can hear that, guys. Can you hear it? He's making gibberish sounds, I think, at that point. That's all you need to do, right? But I guess it depends on what type of voice we're trying to make here, which is why we're making a list. And the tone and the sort of way that they're going to speak, that's something we need to consider. Should be quite sharp. So let's put in brackets Carol the Barrel so we know who the inspiration is for this. Actually, we'll put the name first. Whether this voice would be unique to Carol, we don't know at this point in time, because like if we have that many distinct voices, it might be too many, so we could always have it so that characters in common have, because we will have a big cast over time, there could be another person that could have a variation of this same voice later on, for example. I guess it could be quite sharp, but feel free to give feedback, guys, on what you think, what you could imagine Carol sounding like. We want to get as distinct as possible here, and one other thing that might help it get the gibberish distinct is vocoder, especially with non-humans. Okay, I can look into that. I can Google that term and look at some tutorials and educate myself on that as well, Met. But if anyone has any links, feel free to share, of course. So other characters that we have in the game, feel free to, if anyone's got anyone in mind, characters they're thinking of, feel free to say in chat and I can add them to the list. So we've got Nigel. He's more posh, but we need to get more descriptive in terms of what the tone of the voice is like as well. I guess if we want to just not think of specific characters, we can just list for different voice types as well. So I'm gonna do that as well. High soft voice, high sharp voice, low, Yeah. I mean, it's going to be difficult unless I'm taking samples from somewhere, like how Toby Fox did with Patrick. It's going to be hard to make such specific sounds. So I guess I could start asking for volunteers and then just make the sound and then decide what the sound is after and then just collect them over time. That's another way to do it. But I definitely want Carol's voice first. There's certain NPCs that are obviously we're making now and we're doing scenes for now. So, okay, I'm going to just pause the music in the background. I don't know what this is.
Maybe it's the
It
way
might be a joke, but
you're dressed.
see, once you've got the sample and you know what the voice is that you're gonna do, it doesn't, they've just done this and they've just picked a little bit from it by the look of it, and it's just a tiny sample that repeats itself, right? That's how it seems to me anyway. So one thing we can also do, obviously people can still get involved if they want, if they sort of want to make voices, I'm all for that, but we can also always go to websites like this to find free for use sounds and just take a small tiny millisecond of a sample from it. It's probably safer doing it from a site like this, which is a white screen at the moment because my computer's dying. It's not loaded, but it's probably safer getting from a website like this than it would be to just steal Patrick's voice or steal a cartoon character's voice, because I'm sure there's free ones. Why isn't it working? Okay. So, angry lady. I'm just going to Google that. Google? We're not on Google. I'm just going to Google. Google? Why do we say Google for everything that we type, folks? Am I the only one that says that? Because we're not technically on Google.
Stupid dragon.
See, I don't know if there's going to be any that are good here, but just just something like this. Like, this is all free for use. This sound is licensed under the Creative Commons. As long as it's got that symbol, or this sound is public domain, that's fine. So as long as it's got the public domain symbol, or the Creative Commons attribution license, then we're fine to use it. And you never know, there could be something in here, like just a tiny second that would be perfect for Carol the Barrel's voice that we're trying to get. So like, as we listed here, angry feminine voice, it's a bit more sharp sounding. Then, you know, if something here fits that, we can look through and listen. You'll have to, yeah, crediting is what we're going to do in this. It's all about the credits. So don't forget to make a note of who to credit. Yeah, of course, that's what I do. I've got a massive notepad file of all that. In fact, I go as far as naming the files after the artist or creator, because then you can keep track of it. I have a bunch of sounds from this website that I've downloaded, and the creator's name is in the title. Then it's also easier to find their other stuff as well.
You think you can just let me come into your life? I won't be deleted, Josh. Never change that. Disco bitches, not gods.
This is someone's girlfriend saying this.
Not gods. You're mine, Josh.
So, who knows? Maybe there's the perfect millisecond that's very Carol here. We can listen to that. Yeah. Well, I could see me making a short list of some.
No.
Get out of my house! Get out of my house! Out of my house! Get out of my...
Yeah, that's angry. As long as it's angry, feminine, then we're fine to experiment, and you try that out for Carol. So, here we go. So this isn't one I'm using, this is FL Studio here, but we can create it in the same way Toby Fox created Zan's voice from Backtrack.
Maybe it's the way you're dressed. Maybe it's the way you're dressed.
And I'm curious of how long the sample was.
Maybe,
Just the maybe bit that took.
maybe, maybe it's the way you're dressed.
Yeah, like looking at this, it's not too hard to just do something like that, is it? Interesting. So yeah, I think we could do it this way, guys. We can just list our characters, and I can Google that voice type in freesound.org and just, you know, make a tiny sample from something like that sounds ideal, and maybe do a few sound files actually, and then pick the best one and test it in game. That's what I'm going to do between now and next stream, because we've already got the voice in, and it'd be great to see the sound with the voice of Carol. So I will hopefully have a few examples to show. I'd like to have that for next time, and along with the finished scene 1. I'd like to do Duncan's and Nigel's voices as well, or at least an early version, like, because whatever we have at this stage, like whatever I mess around with and find, it doesn't mean we have to have that one forever and ever. We might have a better version over time. Someone might in the community might want to do the voice, and it might be an even better one, and we can always change it up. But it's good to have like a starting point there, so we can kind of get the idea of what it's going to sound like and the mood and whole vibe of the scene. So that's what I'm going to work on. Where's my list of things to do? So cross that off there now. So that's added to the to-do list. Already done Carol, so she's kind of crossed off. And I'm going to prioritise Carol, Duncan and Nigel as they're the first. That's the order of the NPCs that we meet in the game. We meet Carol first, then we meet Duncan, then we meet Nigel after. There is also another character, well, at the very beginning in the custom hero creator too, that talks. So the custom hero voice, as you create your character, is one we'd want some voice sounds for as well, so that'll be cool. So I'll add that before Carol. Custom hero narrator. The mystery voice of the custom hero narrator. Maybe you can have everyone record the same sentence and you can pick same sound from the same word so they all sound consistent but different. Oh, you mean when I take volunteers, Rex? Like, we can pick an actual sentence for you guys to read out loud, anyone who's willing to do a sample. You pick the sentence, go on. Yeah. Or chat, Rex and chat, anyone, all of you. Let's decide the sentence. One that's like gonna get us a good sample, I guess. You're a voice actor, so you'd know. The quick brown fox jumps the grey fence. Yeah. Can't think of one as a good one, maybe. Yeah, like Holder said, did you see? Holder beat you to it. Yeah. Which is, okay, so we could do something like that. Lazy dog is right, yeah. And then we'd just pick, say, the one word from that sentence, and then we would consistently have everybody sounding the same. That makes sense. Is that, in Celeste and Undertale, do they, I mean, let's look at Celeste again, because I want to hear the voices. I mean, I think Celeste is a little bit more complicated than Undertale, because it seemed pretty advanced the way they've done the sounds in this, because there's just so much variation in the emotion with what they say, whereas with Undertale it seems like it's the same sound effect mostly throughout. Is it in Undertale, like the Sans voice stay constant the whole way through as that one little sample? I can't really remember, but in this it varies. You could just have it at the start of the message rather than for each word. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Well, what I'm thinking of doing, it's actually, the engine's made the job easier actually, because there's a plugin. Yanfly's Message Core Extended Message Pack. There's a section called Letter Sounds, which will automatically, once it's set up and you've given a sound effect, it will automatically make a sound with every single syllable. And the sound it makes will be whatever one that you say on the plugin command and set it up as. So it's already like the plugin and the engine already does that job, the complicated job for us, which is nice. And we can always add variants if we want and change things, which is cool as well. So I think that side of things, like the actual implementing the whole techie part of it, seems like that's already sorted for us thanks to this plugin. So really our job is just creating the varied sound effects, and so that we can have them sound distinct from each other. So yes. And whether we want to add different emotions and pitches, that's something to consider too, because we'd want to use the same voice tone and type. But if we want to, like, say, for example, when Carol's feeling more even angrier, it would maybe have a bit of variance in it, perhaps. But, you know, we'd experiment over time with that and see what we get. But it's a good point that Rex made, that we're going to want to pick the same word, so that it sounds, so we got consistency. I think that's a good thing to point out. So thinking of that, because we're going to be looking at freesound.org just to fill up, because we're not going to have a ton of volunteers suddenly overnight record for us. That means I'm going to have to be very I'm going to have to find a word out of all of these, which obviously makes it harder, but I guess it's a good point. Consistency. You might be able to speed it up or slow it down for that. Yeah. So it just create a little bit of editing. Like, we could use the same sample, but just change it a bit, the pitch or the tempo, or like you say, the speed, and that could just help massively for things like that. But I'm glad to see that the hard bit, the technical bit of getting it to work, is already in the plugin, in the engine. That's a relief, because it would have been a bit daunting to have had to code all that myself, which at one point I thought I was going to have to do. But thanks to that plugin, the hard job's out of the way. It's all just about getting the voices. You should just find one that you like, then we can all record that same sentence that had the sound you liked in it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, because I'm going to be looking for multiple characters' voices. I'm going to look for Carol's, of course, but I'm also going to look for Nigel's, Duncan's, and the narrator of the Custom Heroes voices. So that's already a few character voices. So am I going to be lucky enough to find all of our different ones all on this one website? I mean, it's just a single word. If I can be like, let's look for as long as everyone says the word two, then we're good. And there's quite a lot of samples here, and two's a common word, for example. So maybe I could, like, if we say listen to this, well, this one says get out of my house. Of, to, yeah, out. We just pick a super common word and have our fingers crossed that I'll find a good voice that says. But that's going to be my task for tonight. I'm going to, like, literally scour this website for appropriate voices and see what I can come up with. And this like I say, this is just for now, as a template, as a starting point. Whether we keep these voices, we can always change them up and chat, like if we have a better volunteer and a better voice over time. But I think I need at least something as a base, so we've got something to go off for now. So I'm going to see this as like a good starting point. And just pick a different one for each, and then you can pick your favourite sound and we can all repeat the same sentence. So for now they'd be different. It doesn't have to match the same sound right now. They can all be from different sounds, and then you can choose the ones you like the most. Yeah. So we'll see what I can come up with. It's fun and exciting, that's for sure, because doing something like this, you get to have the freedom to be creative and like just pick whatever you like the sound of, right? So I'm kind of looking forward to just going through this website and listening to all the public domain and Creative Commons sounds, because there could be something really that sounds good in here. But over time, like, you might find that I might allow, like, you know, submissions for things like this and volunteers, especially if you guys are up for it. And you're not going to be like, now you need to give me thousands of dollars, Rose, because I recorded a 2-second sample for you. Then we're good. Okay, so. But Rex and Vanderleer seem keen, so. I can always make... I don't know, a command or something, or put it in the banner, or have it as a section on the Discord somewhere maybe, or even post it on Twitter over time and advertise that peeps can do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody. So, I mean, we can start now and start looking for voices now. But it's a bit difficult because we're already coming towards the end of stream almost. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm looking. It says I've only been streaming just over 2 hours, but that's because we crashed earlier. We had a crash, so it says I've been streaming for less than I have. I'm curious. I'm gonna see how diverse the library is. So I'm gonna just have a mess around. I'm messing about just because, oh gosh, that's kind of like how he did it for Sans, wasn't he? He just took like a tiny portion of what Patrick said and it repeated. Let's go back to the Angry Lady one. Let's listen to that.
It's now and Josh. She be deleted, Josh, ever and forever. And get out my house! Out of my house! Out of house! Out of my house! Out of my house! My house! Out of my house! Get out! Get out of! Get my! Get out! What? Get out of here!
Imagine if that was Carol. Okay. That would get very obnoxious.
Get out of here! Out of here! Get out!
Yeah, it's just about picking. It'll take a few little experiments because some would sound annoying and some might sound perfect. So, that's scary.
Fine. You want me? You want me? Gone. Fine. You want me?
Child demonic angry. Do I really want to listen to that?
They hate you.
That's Oliver, everybody. There could be a little sample for Oliver in here. Well, there's going to be plenty of children characters, I suppose.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
My goodness. There's a lot to listen to. Okay, everybody. I'm glad that we found a plugin now. Because I was a bit concerned at one point that we wouldn't. But it's a good job we came across that. So I think it'll be fine to pull off. I'm feeling pretty confident. Whether it sounds good or not, we won't know until we try. But I'll keep you updated, guys, and I'll look forward to having some stuff to show you on next stream. Because now we've changed the schedule, I'm seeing it as a chance for me to get more content done. Right, because it's been a bit slow going, a bit slower for my liking at this point, especially because we've got a first playable build that's on the way, that's going to be coming out soon. I'm hoping. It's been a bit slower than I wanted, so I think this new schedule change will allow me the time necessary to get stuff done and get more things out. I'd like to start doing screenshots on Saturdays again more often as well. And now we weren't working on scenes. I think that we should start getting some more content to show off soon on those. Oops. I can't pull this. Ow! I can't pull my earphones out my computer. They're stuck. Because I've got slippery hands. That's not good. It's actually stuck in there. And I can't pull by the wire because the wire's kind of coming off. No. To get some tweezers or something. Yay. These did the job in the end. Okay. All right, everybody. I mean, if I had more time, I mean, we are coming to 6 o'clock now, but if I had more time of stream left, I probably would open Audacity right now and start experimenting. But considering we're so close to the end now, I think it's probably a good time to finish up. And I do this off stream and have some stuff to show you next time. But we just had some good talks, shared some wisdom and knowledge and ideas today. because we never really have sound streams, but I think it was a good time to discuss this because I really do want to at least implement and have an experiment with how a sound would sound with Carol's voice and some of the other characters that talk. Could have easily left something like this till the second build, but I think might as well start now. Why not start making it awesome now, right? So save, and yeah, it's I'll keep you updated. I'm excited for next stream already, but I mean, I intend to have plenty done by Tuesday because we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and whole Monday, whole 4 days. So it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping I will have more to discuss and talk about each stream now that comes each week. Because there's going to be more of a time off for me to focus and do things. But thanks for hanging out with me today for the first stream of the new schedule, everybody, because it's definitely a bit different. Streaming on a day I've not streamed before, and some people don't know the new schedule. It's going to take a bit of time, probably for folks to get used to. Even Rex forgot today, and he's the MVP of the stream and forgot. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of time for people to get used to. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Stay safe. Should we do a trivia, folks, before we head off? We can do Raindrop Chronicles trivia. The last time I streamed on a Thursday was a very long time ago. Trivia. Which classes can you choose between for your hero? Nobody's going to know that one. Van knows. Warrior Hunter. Yay. Huzzah. Have we only done 2 trivias this month? That is madness. We might start doing more than 1 trivia in a stream, maybe 2 at the end, because especially now we're streaming less. So let's do another one. Blueberry, lemon, plum, tomato, what fruit is missing? Now, for anyone who's curious about the trivia that's perhaps not seen this before, because we don't do it all the time, so it might be new to a lot of people. It's just a geeky thing, a Raindrop Chronicles character and lore story related questions, and all the answers are in this lore Bible right here that I've just linked to you guys. So it's a chance for everybody to become a nerd of the game, which over time I think something like this will even get more questions in over time. We keep having the same repeated questions right now, but over time we'll make a bit of a collection. Now time to get my lunch. Yes, indeed. You guys have an awesome rest of your week. So I will be back on Tuesday, and it'll be fun. I'm going to head straight off today. And I hope you all have a good weekend. See you. I was about to say see you on Monday, but it's going to be Tuesday. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.